Hey everyone, it's Nina, and today we're talking all about how to use the 2-minute rule to overcome clutter and to finally make progress in our messy home, especially if we are a person who is completely overwhelmed by even just the thought of decluttering and cleaning up, or we have no idea where to start, or we're starting to feel like the task itself might actually be impossible. Now, if you're new to this channel, I do have an extensive playlist on this topic that I will go ahead and link down below. Please check it out if you struggle in this area, as I did for most of my life. But let's go ahead and jump right into this method because I have seen firsthand how life-changing it can really be, and it is something that I absolutely use myself. So in a nutshell, the 2-minute rule is a productivity hack that was made popular by author James Clear in his brilliant book, Atomic Habits. Basically, the rule states that if we can break down a task into little things that can be accomplished in 2 minutes or less, we are much more likely to actually start working on it. And this makes perfect sense because for most of us, when we're faced with a daunting task like cleaning and decluttering that we are dreading because of all the time and energy it's going to take, our natural instinct is to avoid it completely, or at least continue to procrastinate because our brain perceives it to be overwhelming and maybe even something that we're not going to be able to handle. But as the rule states, if we can break down the task into smaller, more manageable chunks, it's a lot easier to convince ourselves to take those first steps and get started, and therefore makes it a lot more probable that the task will actually get done, even when it's something that we really do not enjoy. And from experience, I know that this very simple technique really is highly effective and can be a game changer when we are feeling completely paralyzed. So how does this all work? Well, let's say that your dream is to write a book, but you are feeling really intimidated and you keep avoiding getting started. The 2-minute rule would say all you need to do is to sit down and write one singular page. That's it, just one singular page. And then when you're done with that, you can decide at that point if you want to keep going. Now, most likely you're going to want to go beyond that because you've just proven to yourself that the task itself is possible when it's broken down into little manageable pieces and you've started to become invested in the process. But either way, the most important thing is that you actually got started. Because believe it or not, that is the hardest part of the entire process. And once we start to break down that mental wall we have against the task itself, we start to very quickly gain momentum, and it's a lot easier to just keep going. So now that we have the basic idea of what the 2-minute rule is, let's talk about how we can most effectively use this method to clean and declutter our home. The first thing that we want to do is to make a list of all the tasks that we have been procrastinating on and putting off for the longest time. These are the tasks that are usually responsible for the bulk of our anxiety and overwhelm, and therefore will give us the most relief and satisfaction when we are actually making progress on them. So be honest with yourself and try to figure out what those tasks are for you. Now we need to start to break down these tasks into 2-minute chunks. So we need to think about what tiny little steps we could take to help us reach our goal. So for example, if our goal is to organize our desk, some of the small things that maybe we could write down are picking up all the trash that we find and throwing it away, or taking all the pens and pencils and putting them in a cup, or taking all the papers that we find and putting them in a pile. Or if we want to clean the bathroom, let's say maybe we could pick up all the towels off the floor or wipe down the sink. All these specific little steps we want to think about and write them down. Now comes the easy part. Pick whatever you want off of the list and then set a timer for literally just 2 minutes. Don't worry about whether or not you are going to complete the task. Just keep working on it until the timer goes off. When the time is up, simply decide if you feel like continuing, or if you need a break, or even if you need to be done for the day. Now, again, most likely you're going to want to continue, but it's okay if you need to step away for a while. Don't have expectations and don't put any kind of pressure on yourself. Just be proud of yourself that you are actually beginning the task. Now, of course, the goal is to repeat this exact process until the entire task is complete, but you will be amazed at what can be accomplished in only 2 minutes. We can actually see progress usually in just 2 minutes. And not only that, our perception of our ability to complete the task starts to shift after only 2 minutes. So again, this is a very simple but highly effective way to actually start to make progress in your home and give yourself the space that you deserve while you begin to prove to yourself that you can be successful at things things that do make you feel a little bit uncomfortable. So please go ahead and give this gentle, non-intimidating strategy a try, especially if you feel like nothing else has worked for you. Again, I've seen firsthand how well this works for my clients and also for myself. So I would love to hear if it works for you as well. As always, I want to thank you so much for spending time with me today. I hope you found today's video to be insightful and helpful. If you did, please like it, share it, definitely become a subscriber if you aren't one already. I would love it if you stayed connected, and I hope the rest of your day is absolutely extraordinary.